Did you ever wonder why the woman you've been taking care of for years suddenly has so much energy to go out, so much time to look good, and so much happiness that doesn't include you? Be honest with yourself. Have you looked at the house you pay for, the car you lease for her, and the gym membership you've funded, and realized you are literally paying for the stage where she performs for another man? You spent your youth grinding. You skipped the parties, you worked the double shifts, and you built a life of comfort. You did everything a good man is supposed to do. You provided the safety, the food, and the luxury. And how does she thank you? She uses the free time your hard work bought her to go find a thrill with a guy who hasn't worked a day in his life. She's using the phone you bought to text him. She's using the bed you bought to dream about him. She's using the confidence you gave her to go out and audition for your replacement. It's the ultimate betrayal. You didn't just get cheated on, you financed the affair. Today, we are going to wake up from this nightmare. I am going to show you how to stop being the sponsor of your own heartbreak and how to take back the power that you built with your own two hands. If you don't watch this until the end, you will continue to be the ATM for a woman who is laughing at you behind your back. While you were out building the kingdom, she was busy handing the keys to a peasant. You are currently the most successful cuckold in your neighborhood because you're paying for the lifestyle she uses to disrespect you. Men, this channel is more than content. It's a brotherhood that exists for those who refuse to be controlled, distracted, or broken. My ex told me men today are too weak, too distracted, and too controlled to ever unite. I didn't argue. I decided to prove her wrong. Every man who subscribes is proof that discipline, self-respect, and strength still exist. If you stand for truth, self-control, and knowing your value as a real man, if you're here to sharpen your mindset and live with standards, subscribe and stay. Like this video and make your presence known in the comments. Let's see who's serious and is ready to prove doubters wrong, because after this video, you'll be reborn as a new man who has discovered himself and is ready to take back his manhood. Make sure to subscribe and stay ahead, because we are just getting started. We have to look at the dark side of provision. You've been told since you were a boy that if you provide for a woman, she will be loyal. You've been told that if you build a beautiful nest, she will stay in it. But in today's world, your provision is often the very thing that gives her the freedom to cheat. Think about it. Because you work so hard, she doesn't have to. Because she doesn't have to work, she has 8 hours a day of boredom. And a bored woman with your credit card and a gym membership is a dangerous thing. She uses that time to find herself at the yoga studio or the wine bar, while you are in the trenches catching hell from your boss just to make sure she has the latest iPhone. You are the victim of a parasitic betrayal. She is using your strength to hide her weakness. She is using your reputation to hide her trashy behavior. When people see her, they see a classy wife because of the clothes you bought and the car she drives, but inside, she is still looking for the bad boy excitement she never grew out of. She wants the stability of the king, but the sting of the scorpion, and she is using your palace to host her secrets. It's the most cold-blooded thing a person can do, to watch a man work himself to death to provide a life, and then use that life to spit on his face. Let's talk about the story of a man we'll call Robert. Robert was a man of honor. He spent 20 years in the military and then started his own security firm. He was a provider plus. He married a woman named Sarah who was 10 years younger. Robert wanted Sarah to have everything he didn't have growing up. He bought a massive house in the suburbs. He paid for Sarah to go back to school, but she never finished. He bought her a luxury SUV. He even hired a cleaning lady so Sarah wouldn't have to stress about the house. Robert was the loser in this story because he made Sarah's life too easy. Because she had no skin in the game, she didn't value the game. Sarah started training with a guy at the gym, a guy who lived in a one-bedroom apartment and drove a beat-up Honda. Robert was paying $300 a month for the personal trainer that was taking his wife to hotels. Sarah would kiss Robert goodbye in the morning, wait for him to go to the office, and then use the SUV Robert paid for to go meet the other guy. She was using Robert's security to feel safe enough to be wild with someone else. Robert found out when he saw the toll booth records on his account. When he confronted her, Sarah didn't apologize. She said, "You're always working, Robert. You made me lonely." She blamed the man who was working to give her a life of luxury for her own choice to be a traitor. Robert failed because he didn't realize that when you give a woman everything for nothing, she begins to think you are nothing. This is the provision gap. When you provide too much, she stops seeing you as a man and starts seeing you as a utility. You are like the electricity or the water. She expects you to be there, but she doesn't love the light bulb. She saves her love for the guy who makes her work for it. You are the victim of your own success. You built a life that was so comfortable it became a playground for her infidelity. You have to understand that most women today don't have the character to handle a high-value man. They want the money, but they can't handle the frame. They want the lifestyle, but they want to keep their single girl habits. They want to be protected from the world, but they want to be open to the attention of every guy in their DMs. It's a double life, brothers, and you are the one paying the rent for both lives. You see, a woman who cheats on a provider is a special kind of evil. She is a person who sees your sacrifice and thinks it's funny. She sees you coming home tired with dirt under your fingernails or stress in your eyes, and she thinks, "What a fool, if he only knew what I was doing 2 hours ago." She is a predator of your kindness. She is using the mask of a wife to hide the heart of a street girl. And the worst part is, she'll use your own house to do it. She'll wait until you're on a business trip to bring him over. She'll use your shower to wash his scent off her. It's a total desecration of everything you built. Putting an end to this starts with asset reclamation. You have to realize that since you built it, you can break it. You have to stop being the safe choice and start being the dangerous reality. A woman only cheats when she thinks the safety you provide is guaranteed. She thinks you can even find out you're too nice to throw her out. She thinks you're too invested to let the house go. She is gambling with your chips because she thinks you'll never leave the table. You put her in her place by showing her that the life she's using is a privilege, not a right. The moment the loyalty stops, the provision stops. The moment the respect stops, the luxury stops. You have to be willing to burn the nest to the ground if there is a snake in it. You have to be the man who can say, "I built this empire once and I can build it again without you. But you, without me, you are back to the basement you came from." Brothers, we are moving from the realization into the total reclamation. We've seen the horror of the situation. The fact that your sweat, your overtime hours, and your sleepless nights have been the very things funding her double life. But now we have to talk about how a man of steel takes his power back. You see, the reason she felt comfortable cheating in the life you built is that she forgot who the owner is. She started thinking the house, the car, and the status were hers by divine right. She forgot that without the pillar of your strength, her entire world is a house of cards waiting for a breeze. To be a winner, you have to stop being the landlord of her infidelity and start being the architect of her exit. When you take your power back, you aren't just taking back money or a car, you are taking back your life force. You are deciding that your energy will no longer be used to fertilize a garden that grows thorns for your own head. By choosing to flip the switch, you are forcing her to face the market value of her own character. Without your protection, she is just another face in the crowd. And believe me, the excitement she found with that other guy will dry up the second he realizes he has to pay for her lunch. Men, this channel is more than content. It's a brotherhood that exists for those who refuse to be controlled, distracted, or broken. My ex told me men today are too weak, too distracted, and too controlled to ever unite. I didn't argue. I decided to prove her wrong. Every man who subscribes is proof that discipline, self-respect, and strength still exist. If you stand for truth, self-control, and knowing your value as a real man, if you're here to sharpen your mindset and live with standards, subscribe and stay, like this video, and make your presence known in the comments. Let's see who's serious and is ready to prove doubters wrong. because after this video, you'll be reborn as a new man who has discovered himself and is ready to take back his manhood. Make sure to subscribe and stay ahead because we're just getting started. Let's look at the path of a man who executed the total shutdown. We'll call him Thomas. Thomas was a successful architect who spent 10 years building a lifestyle for his wife, Elena. He bought a 5-bedroom house, he paid for her master's degree, and he gave her a lifestyle allowance so she could enjoy the finer things while he sat in meetings. Thomas thought he was being a king, but Elena was using that master's degree to network with a younger guy at a firm downtown. She was using the study nights Thomas funded to go to hotels. She was using the confidence Thomas gave her to tell this other man that Thomas was just a provider and boring. Thomas was the winner in this story because he didn't confront her with tears. He confronted her with paperwork. Before she even knew he found out, Thomas had already moved his primary accounts. He had already spoken to a private investigator to document that she was using the family car for her trysts. One Friday evening, Elena came home to find the locks changed. Her designer bags were in the garage, and a notice of eviction was taped to the door alongside the divorce papers. Thomas didn't give her a final talk. He didn't ask why. He simply sent her a text that said, "The lifestyle you enjoyed was a reward for a wife I no longer have. Your contract is terminated." Elena tried to go to the other guy, but guess what? The other guy didn't want a woman with no house, no car, and a looming legal battle. He wanted the luxury Elena that Thomas paid for. Once the free ride was over, the affair ended in 48 hours. Thomas won because he realized that his power wasn't in the house, it was in his ability to provide the house. He built a new life, kept his assets, and today he's with a woman who knows that his provision is a sacred gift, not a right. He reclaimed his throne by realizing he was the one who built the chair she was sitting on. You have to understand the utility factor. A woman who cheats on a provider is betting that you are too civilized to cut her off. She thinks your good man identity will prevent you from being mean. This is how she traps you. She uses your own morality as a cage for your spirit. But listen to me, there is nothing moral about allowing a traitor to eat at your table. There is nothing good about funding a woman's disrespect. True masculinity is about justice. If the contract of loyalty is broken, the contract of provision is null and void. When you take your power back, you have to be surgical. You look at everything you provide, the phone plan, the insurance, the gym, the credit cards, the Netflix, and you realize those are all vines that she has wrapped around your tree. You have to cut the vines so the tree can grow again. When she loses the life you built, she finally sees the man she betrayed. She realizes that the boring provider was actually the god of her universe, but by then, it's too late. The light is out, the door is locked. Why do men hesitate? Because they are victims of sunk cost fallacy. You think, I put 10 years into this house, I can't just let it go. But those 10 years are gone regardless. The question is, do you want to waste the next 10 years being a landlord for a woman who doesn't love you? You are the victim of a thief who didn't steal your money. She stole your time, and time is the only thing a man can't make more of. The winner's reclamation means you stop identifying as the husband and start identifying as the source. You are the source of the lifestyle. If she wants the lifestyle, she has to go find someone else to build it for her. And we both know she won't find another man like you easily. High-value providers aren't growing on trees. She traded a mountain for a mound of dirt, and she needs to feel the cold of the valley to understand what she lost. You are the victim of a woman who thought she could have the safety of your kingdom and the heat of the streets. She thought you were an NPC, non-player character, in her movie. She thought you existed only to provide the background scenery for her life. When you take your power back, you were telling her, I am the director, the producer, and the owner of this studio, and your role has been recast. Rebuilding your power means going back to the basics. It means taking that money you were spending on her yoga retreats and putting it into your business. It means taking that time you spent arguing and putting it into the squat rack. You have to become so powerful and so successful that her cheating becomes the best thing that ever happened to you. You want to get to the point where you look back and say, I'm glad she cheated because I was too comfortable being her slave. Her betrayal forced me to become a king. This channel is for men who are done blaming themselves for other people's choices. If that's you, don't leave as a spectator. Subscribe and stay ahead because we're just getting started. Support the message, speak in the comments, and stand with the men who choose clarity over confusion. You are being rebooted by the truth. It hurts because the truth is a fire, and it has to burn away the lies you believed about her. But once the fire is done, all that's left is the iron. You are a man who can build, protect, and lead. You don't need a traitor in your palace to be a king. You are a king because of your character, your discipline, and your ability to stand alone if the people around you aren't worthy. So here is the smart question for the Brotherhood today. If you could take back every dollar and every hour you spent on her during the time she was cheating, what would you build with that fortune today? I want to hear from the brothers in the comments. Have you ever realized you were financing your only betrayal? What was the first thing you cut off when you took your power back? Your comment might be the blueprint for a brother who is still paying for a car that his wife is using to meet her lover. Let's get the engagement up. Let's show the world that the sponsor is retired and the sovereign man is back in charge. Hit that subscribe button if you're ready to reclaim your life and your resources. We are 3,000 strong and we are just getting started. I'll see you in the next one. Stay vigilant, stay cold, stay in your power.